Hello and welcome back to a 3 versus 3 for Total War Warhammer. In today's online multiplayer battle, we're all playing a Dwarf faction. Our enemies are playing a Vampire Accounts Chaos and another traitorous Dwarf faction. These are my gyrocopters over here, flying over Mankirk's army. It's Mankirk, myself, and Tokshin all fighting together. I've got my Nor-Grimling Iron Breakers. We're looking at a Bolt Thrower. We're looking at some Grudge Throwers, with one being a Goblobber. Over here I have my Iron Breakers, my Rangers in the middle. I've got two groups of Slayers. I've got Dwarf Warriors who have great weapons, and I've got a Grombrindal. Tokshin has a Grombrindal too. He brought in a lot of Bolt Throwers. He brought in Slayers, Longbeards, two Miners, I believe a Grumbling Guard, yeah, and a Peak Gate Guard. Then over in the front line, Dwarf Warriors with a Runesmith as well. Mankirk did bring in a lot of Rangers, a lot of Organ Guns, and overall a lot of artillery. Way too much to be able to defend it. A lot of Bolt Throwers over here, Slayers on the right flank. I did type to him in the very beginning to move behind me, but he didn't see it until much later on, because it would have been much better had he moved behind me to use all the artillery where we could have protected it together. But he was over here alone, which means that every player on the map went towards him. They were like, hey, that's pretty good. And they wanted to come over here to flank him. Well, actually, the Hex Racer are here right now. They're about to go bind him up. I've got my own gyrocopters who are going to try to help him out, but they're not going to be able to do enough damage. They do not have brimstone guns, and not to mention, I don't even know if they can do extra damage to them. I don't know if that fire damage is like actual magical damage considered, or considered that. So now we're shooting them. The organ guns are aimed back. They won't get any kills. The Rangers are here, but already we've got one wing unprotected, and they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Oh, tomorrow's battle, we're going to be looking at a lot of beastmen who will be fighting. It will be brutal, for sure. Alright, over here we got the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass doing their thing today. Okay. He brought in a lot of Chaos Marauders who have great weapons, which is a great counter to a Dwarf faction. He brought in 4 Chaos Pharaoh Manticores and 2 Chaos Knights. I would have brought in Lances instead of the normal Knights, but I mean, he probably didn't have a lot of gold for that. He did bring in 2 groups of Aspiring Champions. We got an Archaeon moving in, mounted as well. On the infantry side of things, he probably could have brought in something for the late game. Marauders with great weapons could do a lot, but yeah, the Bolt Throwers are hitting the Exalted Hero. Oh, okay, he brought in, right. Not just Manticores. Here's a spell going right through his own Longbeards, but fortunately, it does go back to go hit the Chaos player as well. Right now, all of our artillery, Tokshin and mine, well, we're hitting the Vampire Count player. We're trying to get rid of that Claw of Nagash and the Vargulf and whatever we can. Here they come right now. They're about to clash. He pulled back a little bit. You can look at the Pharaoh Manticores moving in from behind. They're all hitting right now. They're going to tear right through him. The Hex Wraiths are gone, but they did their damage, and the crews are not back on point to even begin firing to do damage. We have a Vampire Count player now moving in, and a Dwarf player far behind who will eventually be there. These Bolt Throwers had no chance. I mean, that's a lot of gold mitigated from the very beginning from being a contributive factor to our war side. Our war, I don't know, goal of winning. The Longbeard's over here. The Vargulf is now beginning to move over here to go fight. We're trying to focus that down right now. I think I have my Rangers focus it down incredibly quickly. Incredibly fast. Yeah, I have them all shooting this like right there. We're trying to get it immediately. Tokshin and I try to use focus fire where we can to get rid of whatever we can, like that. Let's go look in slow motion real quick at what's going on. It's a pretty big battle. There's so much going on. The Knights are over here mixing them up. I mean, he died. He collapsed like immediately. They will stay and fight for a little while. They will do some damage, but they are definitely going to die immediately. There's nothing that we can do. We're not very quick. We're dwarfs, and trying to restructure our entire formation to get there in time just was not going to work out. So we had to do what we could. If you look at it right now, we're all shooting. We've got so much artillery trying to hit that Claw of Nagash, because I mean, those are just really terrible to fight. But if you look at it, things gotta speed up now. They get a little bit faster. And I'm still drinking my coffee, so I do apologize if I'm a little bit incoherent. Alright. Let's go look at it over here again. We have our allied player trying to do a few things. He's got a Grombrindal, right? Yeah, that's his own Grombrindal. We all brought one. His Slayers over here were fighting. Yeah, after the battle, we were like, yeah, we'll get it next time, pal. It's cool. But no, he's been a great ally, and I look forward to playing more matches with him. Rangers are all shooting into the fray right now. We're shooting the vampire count player big time. Again, all hitting that Claw of Nagash. That is a lot of gold to get rid of at the very beginning. A very huge benefit to any undead player. That's why we're destroying it. If you look at it, 13 kills, and it is out of here! No more Claw of Nagash. I've got my gyrocopters up here doing their thing. I love them. Though, in hindsight, I would have brought in Brimstone guns to do more damage to the mounted units. I mean, it does a lot to actual infantry, for sure. But Brimstones would have done a lot more to anti-large, meaning knights and creatures. And right now, Toshin and I are fighting a little bit of that vampire count player. There's some Longbeards over here. I don't know if it's Toshins. I believe they are, because Mankirk is just kind of torn up. We're kind of using him now as a capability for our artillery to launch into them. If you look at my Grudge Star, nearly 100 kills. If you look over here, 128 kills. We're getting a lot of kills because of that, because they're all grouped up. The Knights are coming back over here. Now, they had Mankirk all to themselves, and they were not very neat with it. They lost a lot of units trying to kill him. They definitely could have killed him in a more neat way. They could have cut off his head, but now they're letting him claw out their eyes or something. Because, I mean, they're taking way too much damage. Which is a good thing for us, right? No, it's a very good thing. It's just rather entertaining that they had one player to fight and they were still being bloodied up. So I will say that even though that was going on, they bunched up. And they're just losing so much because, again, they're just incredibly grouped up right now. So all this artillery is just crushing their units right now. Okay, we are reforming at the moment. It is a beautiful fight. A beautiful fight. Hammerers are beginning to move in. Tokshin and I are beginning to, I believe, deploy together. Yeah, he came up on my right flank to go fight that vampire count player. And I said, hey, I'll handle that dwarf traitor. And that's what's happening right now. I'm trying to get after his organ guns. I think eventually I stop caring about them. I get my gyrocopters after them to go shoot away. And they end up taking out their crews quickly. Insanely quickly. Biggly wiggly quickly. And they're just doing it. Iron Drakes are shooting in. I'm using a focus and fire to eradicate them immediately. I'm using my Rangers, if you could tell, as a quick mobile firing platform. They I mean, I wish they didn't waste all this bullets in one area, but they just got rid of those Iron Drakes quickly, who only got one kill. They probably could have gotten a lot more kills over a course of time. We're looking at a battle over here where they're all charging in. We're looking at Hammerers that are trying to get in. I've got my Ironbreakers doing their own thing. I'm shooting them quite a bit. They're beginning to shoot at my gyrocopters a little bit, but I'm still getting their crew, who've gotten 18 kills. Let's go look over here. They're beginning to clash on Tokshin's line right now, doing their thing. They're trying to go around as well, but we have a pretty long line now holding. We've got a pretty formed up formation where we can now hold them back. The vampire count player bunched up way too much. That was such a bad idea. You do not need to be doing that. You want to fight an outstretched opponent with your vampire count units, otherwise you're grouped up and you're just not going to be very powerful. Not like that. You're not a death ball anymore. Those aren't really effective. Over here we've got Archeon. He's at a very low amount of health. We're looking at over here miners who are still alive. 2 Slayers who are charging in, who actually got 98 kills. That's very effective, very good. Aspiring champions are now going to fight them, so they'll lose quickly, but that is okay. Mankirk bloodied them the hell up, not to mention we had all the artillery shooting over here. We've got Exalted Heroes and whatever else he has that are about to die in a little while. They're not going to get very far. Let's go look over here. My gyrocopter, getting rid of that organ gun crew before they could really increase their kill count. Makes me very happy. These Hammerers took so much damage, even before getting into battle. We're throwing satchels at them. I've got my Norgrimling Ironbreaker, 65 kills already, and no deaths yet. More Ironbreakers, 11 kills. We're looking over here now. Dwarf Warriors are fighting. Yeah, Tokshin is just fighting a lot of vampire count units and doing quite well at that. His Bolt Throwers had a ball game the entire time, being buffed up by a Master Engineer, so they're shooting even faster. A very unique situation that doesn't often happen where you're just allowed to fire like that. But we all had quite a bit of artillery, and right now, as you can tell, we're destroying whatever the dwarf player has for range. They cannot get far enough. Now over here we're hitting them. Ironbreakers are dying. The Chaos player is pretty weak now. He lost way too much in that battle. He didn't have to, but Mankirk was like, you know what? my location was not prime, but my fighting capability, prime! And he went after it. It was like $90 a month for it, but he shipped some pain in 2 days to that Chaos Marauder player. Alright, here's Archaon. We've got Thunderers back here shooting at a few knights. We got Slayers who are fighting those knights too. They're beginning to falter because, I mean, they're just dying. That's it. It just works, man. Let's go check it out. Everyone's just dying today. It's a hugely violent and terrible affair. What is happening here? Yeah, we're looking at iron breakers that they have, but again, we have so many bolters hitting them, they're just going to fall apart. Here's where things begin to change up. And we have all of our range units. I have my rangers and all that going after that exalted hero. Again, I'm using focus and fire wherever I can to go after anyone that they have. I don't know if they were like all trying to go in to target my Grumbling Guard or my Runesmith. I'm not too sure. But they're all in his line now, trying to mix it up. If you look at it, we've got runes mitigating damage, diminishing any type of damage they're able to deliver. We have destroyed their knights. They do over here have 3 knights left. I don't know if they'll come back eventually. They are only broken but not shattered. Over here, Marauders are dying to miners. We're looking at Archaon, who is also dying. Back here, we've got some bolt thrower crews belonging to, I believe, our good friend Mankirk, and he's going to be getting on that, I believe, to go continue the fight. Look, he's not giving up. He's like, hell yeah, bolt throw time, and he begins to fire anyway. So they couldn't even fully finish him off. They didn't even fully finish him off, and he was allowed to fight even more. Graveguard are falling apart. We've destroyed a dwarf player with our ranged units. I mean, we completely destroyed him. My gyrocopters run out of ammo. I believe I'm the one who used the Gromberdal has no fear thing. And they actually got quite a few kills. I mean, they went after crews, they went after range units, they went after knights. They did pretty well. Now I'm going after Thunderers. They're ramming them with their helicopters. Their gyrocopters, my bad. No, we're just shooting at whatever they have. The sheer amount of bodies here is incredible. We beat them. We completely beat them. One dead enemy lord. There went Vlad. They're all fleeing now. We're just fighting what? A necromancer who apparently wouldn't break or die. We thought that was a little bit strange. That's not very common. They usually fall or die pretty quickly. But he stayed for a little while. I like the new animations on the card. I don't believe they always had animations, but they do now. That's good. They're just gonna swing away. Not very powerful looking blows, but... And we win. That's how we win the fight. Look at the carnage, though. All over that map. Close victory. I don't know if it was close. I think it was very close. I'm kidding. It wasn't close at all. We won by a pretty good margin. Okay, let's go through things real quick. If you go look at it right now, Grumberdal, 28 kills. Took a lot of damage, but that is okay. 115 for my Slayers. A lot of kills. 89 for my Nordgrimling Ironbreakers. That did not take a lot of damage. My Grudgestor, 262. My Goblobber, 326. My Gyrocopters, 4759. Rangers were doing focused jobs, and they got a lot of kills by gold cost alone, and they're very cheap. I mean, I spent only, what, 2,000 gold for 4 units, and I was able to do a lot of damage. My melee didn't get a chance to fight for a very long period of time. Tokshin's bolt throwers nearly 100 kills each. That's a lot of damage. Thunderers 49. We're looking at, for his peak gate guard, 137, a very effective amount. Slayers not as many. And just a balanced amount of kills all over. Mankirk. Let's go look at it real quick. Grom, only 3 kills. 5 for the Runesmith. His miners did some damage, 20. His Longbeards held for quite a bit of time, actually. That was pretty good. The Slayers held, too, and they did a lot of damage. We're looking at the Rangers, who did some damage, too. So, I mean, overall, he did some damage. The only part that was ineffective completely would be the artillery. I mean, at the end, I think it was that last group that was able to get back on their artillery piece that were able to get 15 kills. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got Delirium Nocturnum, 26, 32 kills. Hammer is 58 kills, so I mean a little bit over here, but largely we destroyed him before he could do anything. Chaos Warrior player, let's go look at it real quick. The Knights did a lot of damage, the Manticores were okay, the Exalted Heroes, alright. Archaon did pretty well, but I mean, if he's Archaon, it's not saying a lot. It's pretty good, I mean, he's expected to do pretty alright. Alright, Marauders, I mean, they got their kills, but they couldn't hold up. The Vampire Count player, you don't bring in Skeleton Warriors if you bring in zombies as fodder. You just don't do that. he could have had a much better build. His build was not very effective in that fight at all. He bunched them all up and they died accordingly. So I would say that Manhunt was probably like the weaker link. The Dwarf player was way too slow. He should have been charging from the very beginning. He should have been doing something from the very beginning, but he wasn't. The Cuz player was by far the most proactive one, but his allies couldn't really properly support him. But anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like down below if you did enjoy this. Let's try to hit 200 likes if that's possible, and I believe it is. I believe in you, and as always, until then.